I was born in Pakistan and grew up in a small village near Karachi. When I was about 11 years old, I came face to face with a jinn. No, not like a benevolent, goofy kind of genie from Hollywood movies. This was a real jinn, and I will never forget what happened. In my family there were 5 children, and I was the eldest. My father worked as a farmer. My mother died shortly after giving birth to my youngest sibling, so my paternal grandmother did the majority of the mothering. We referred to her as Nani. Her storytelling was one of my favorite memories of her. Nani would gather us grandkids around her almost every night and tell us all kinds of interesting stories. The majority of the stories contained moral lessons. However, sometimes she would tell us scary stories about the jinns. For us Muslims, the jinns are more than just folklore. Our religion teaches that jinns do indeed exist. But I won't bore you with my religious beliefs. If you are curious, you can look it up on Google. Anyway, I used to be a huge fan of scary jinn stories. I often thought Nani made them up, but they were entertaining regardless. One time Nani told us a true story about the strange old lady Amira. I knew who she was because Amira lived alone in an old house not far away from us. Villagers feared her, and some advised us children to avoid Amira respectfully. Amira used to be a lovely young lady, according to Nani. Her parents were decent, hard-working people. She was a good Muslim lady who only went places with her family. Amira received numerous marriage proposals as she grew older. However, she did not want to marry, and her parents reluctantly respected her wishes. Azib Bashir, a local young man, fell in love with her. He was madly obsessed with Amira. Azib became enraged after being rejected by her several times. He devised a cunning plan to kidnap and forcefully marry her. Azib broke into Amira's house one night, started a fire, and forced her to accompany him. The building was quickly consumed by fire, killing the poor girl's parents. Nani said deafening screams woke up the entire village. Some villagers attempted to put out the fire but were unsuccessful. Nani recalled Amira screaming and crying in terror. Suddenly, as Azib was pulling her to run with him, a glowing being emerged from the fire, frightening everyone. It resembled a tall humanoid. It was a jinn. Nani said the jinn looked like he was on fire and had glowing eyes. The jinn roared in rage and snatched Amira from Azib's arms, demonstrating a great strength. Azib screamed in agony and was thrown a few feet in the air before landing on a nearby dirt road. Amira fainted in the jinn's arms, and they both vanished. No one knew where the jinn took Amira, according to Nani. Azib was arrested on suspicion of 2 murders and arson. Amira's uncle eventually built a new house near the ruins of the old one. Amira returned to the village after the house was finished. Nobody ever came to propose to her anymore. Only distant relatives were seen paying her visits on rare occasion. Amira rarely appeared in public and had no friends as time passed. Nonetheless, she appeared to have all of her needs met. Village women often gossiped to have seen Amira talking with invisible beings who taught her witchcraft, and some claimed that the jinn who saved her was her husband. After hearing this story, I was determined to find out for myself whether old Amira had a jinn husband. My plan was to leave the house while everyone was sleeping. One quiet night, I crept out of my room through my bedroom window. Amira's house was only a few minutes away. It was very dark outside, and the village appeared to be deserted. I was silently praying for protection. For fear of demonic attacks, it was generally not advised for anyone, especially minors, to go outside after night prayers. So, I thought prayers of protection will help me. Surprisingly, I didn't see any stray dogs that night. It is said that seeing a dog at night is a bad omen. I was truly superstitious boy at the time. I don't know what I expected to happen except that I assumed the jinn is inside the lady's home and I wanted to see it. When I got to Amira's house, I hid behind a bush under one of her windows. She must have been asleep because it was very late. I waited for a while, then heard rustling behind me. Wide-eyed and with heart pumping, I tried to slowly turn to see what it was. But as I turned, my left arm hit an object that made loud noise. I stood up to run, but suddenly was grabbed and lifted off the ground. I turned to face whoever it was, and I looked straight into a face like I had never seen in my life. It had red eyes, small nose, dark skin with a golden glow to it. Its hair looked red, as if on fire. I could sense heat coming from the being. It held me tightly and growled. I thought it will tear me apart. It was the jinn, I was sure of it. The jinn's grip was painful and my shoulders felt like they were being burned. I screamed and suddenly it released me. I fell to the ground. Trembling from fear, I started running, tripping and turning to look back. I started reciting verses from the Quran. As I was running away, I saw the being shape shift from to a more pleasant humanoid figure. It looked like a man dressed in white. I saw old Amira approaching her window holding a lantern. The being disappeared. I just ran home. That night I did not sleep from fear and painful burn marks on my shoulders. Up until now, I never told this story to anyone because I didn't want to get in trouble for sneaking out of my house so late at night. Also because I was afraid of the jinn. Later, my nanny did wonder how I burned my kameez, and my father scolded me for possibly smoking tobacco. I am now in my 30s. The old Amira has been dead for a while. Her house is abandoned. When I visit family in Pakistan, neighbors still report seeing the old lady and her jinn spouse in the house. I can't accuse them of inventing stories or hallucinating when I am certain that what happened to me was real. The being I saw that night was not human, and I do believe it was a jinn. The jinn let me go because I was a curious kid with no intention to harm Amira.
Thank you for your time. We hope you enjoyed this story. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.